Have you ever met a guy who seems to know exactly what to say, how to act, and how to make you feel like the only woman in the room? While it might feel amazing, it could also leave you wondering, how much experience does he really have? In today's video, we're diving into the 12 signs a man has been with a lot of women. By the end, you'll know exactly how to spot these signs and what they mean for you. Number 1. He's extremely confident around women. Confidence is often the first thing you'll notice about a man who has been with many women. It's not just the way he talks, it's how he carries himself, how he enters a room, and how comfortable he seems in any social situation. He doesn't stutter over his words, he doesn't hesitate to approach you, and he maintains an air of ease that makes you wonder, has he done this before? Spoiler alert, he probably has. This confidence usually comes from experience. Men who've been with a lot of women have learned how to navigate social and romantic situations without letting nerves get the best of them. Think about it. Rejection is a natural part of dating, and someone with a lot of experience has likely faced it plenty of times. Over time, rejection doesn't sting as much, and their confidence grows. But confidence can be a double-edged sword. While it's attractive, it can also be intimidating or even manipulative if he knows how to use it to his advantage. A truly confident man won't just exude charisma, he'll make you feel confident too. If his self-assurance feels genuine, it can be a great foundation. But if it seems like he's putting on a show to impress or control you, it's worth taking a step back and reassessing. It's also important to see how his confidence holds up in challenging situations. Does he remain calm and composed when things don't go his way? Or does his demeanor change when he's faced with criticism or an unexpected curveball? A man's true character often reveals itself when he's under pressure. Number 2. He knows exactly what to say to get you hooked. Have you ever met someone who makes you feel like he's reading straight from a romance novel? He compliments you in ways that feel personal, like, "You're not just beautiful, you have this energy about you that's magnetic," or "You're unlike anyone I've ever met." On the surface, these words might seem deeply heartfelt, but if a man has been with a lot of women, well, these lines might be a part of a well-rehearsed script. Men with experience often learn how to connect with women on an emotional level quickly. They know which words will make you feel special and which phrases will draw you in. For example, he might listen intently to what you're saying, then repeat your words back to you in a way that makes you feel deeply understood. He's not just good with compliments, he's good with timing, tone, and delivery. However, this can sometimes feel like too much of a good thing, and you might find yourself wondering, is this guy really this charming, or has he just practiced this on other women before me? The key is to watch for consistency. Does he follow up his sweet words with thoughtful actions? Or does it seem like he's just relying solely on his ability to talk his way into your heart? Also, pay attention to how he reacts when you test his sincerity. If you playfully challenge him by saying something like, "Yeah, well, you probably say that to all the girls," does he laugh it off or does he get defensive? A man who's truly invested in you won't shy away from clarifying his intentions. Number 3. He's skilled in physical affection. One of the biggest giveaways of experience is how a man approaches physical intimacy. When you're with someone who has been with a lot of women, you might notice that he's incredibly skilled at making you feel comfortable and desired. He knows how to create chemistry without making it feel forced. For example, he might instinctively know when to place his hand on your back as you walk through a door or when to brush off a strand of your hair out of your face. His kisses might feel perfectly timed, and his touch feels confident yet respectful. These little gestures may seem natural, but they often come from experience. Here's where it gets tricky. Just because someone is physically skilled doesn't mean that they're emotionally invested. It's easy to confuse physical chemistry with emotional connection, especially when someone knows how to make you feel good. That's why it's important to look at the bigger picture. Does he take the time to connect with you on a deeper level, or is he solely focused on the physical side of things? Also, pay attention to how he navigates boundaries. A man who truly respects you will pay a close attention to your comfort level and won't push you into anything that you're not ready for. If he's genuinely interested in you, his physical affection will feel like a natural extension of your connection, not a means to an end. Number 4. He's not easily impressed by women. A man who has been with many women often develops a sense of composure that can make him seem hard to impress. This doesn't mean that he's not interested in you, but it does mean that he's probably seen a lot of the same traits, behaviors, and conversations before. For example, you might share something about yourself that you think is unique, like a quirky talent or an adventurous story, and he responds with a simple, "That's cool," instead of an enthusiastic reaction that you were expecting. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that he's less likely to be blown away by the surface level details of who you are. On one hand, this can be refreshing. He's not just the type to fall for someone just because they're attractive or charming. He's looking for substance, which can be a good sign if you're seeking a deeper connection. And on the other hand, it can sometimes feel like you have to work harder to get his attention, which can be frustrating if you're used to men who are more easily impressed. The key is to observe how he treats you over time. Does he take the time to get to know you on a deeper level, or does he seem detached and disinterested? A man who's genuinely intrigued by you will show his interest through consistent effort, even if he doesn't react strongly to every little thing. Number 5. He's quick to move things forward. If you're dealing with a man who has been with a lot of women, you'll probably notice how quickly he progresses the relationship. He's not the type to linger in the getting to know you phrase for too long. Instead, he'll find subtle or not so subtle ways to move things forward, whether it's asking you out on a date, steering the conversation towards more personal topics, or initiating physical contact. This efficiency can feel exciting because it shows that he knows what he wants and isn't afraid to go after it. But it also can feel a bit overwhelming if you're someone who prefers to take things slow. Men with experience often develop a blueprint for how to build attraction and escalate a relationship. They know how to create a sense of intimacy and trust quickly, which can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's flattering to feel like someone is genuinely interested in you. And on the other hand, well, it makes you wonder if he's moving fast because he's more focused on the thrill of the chase than on building something meaningful. The best way to handle this is to set your own pace. A man who's truly interested in you will respect your boundaries and will be willing to slow down if that's what you need. If he gets frustrated and tries to pressure you, it's a clear sign that his intentions might not align with yours. Number 6. He's hard to surprise. When you're with a man who's been with a lot of women, you might notice that he's rarely caught off guard. Whether it's a flirtatious comment, a playful joke, or a bold move on your part, he seems to take it all in stride. This composure can be intriguing because it shows that he's confident and unshakable, but it also can make you wonder if he's truly present in the moment or just going through the motions. For example, if you share a story about a crazy adventure that you had or reveal a hidden talent, he might respond with a casual, "That's cool," instead of the wide-eyed enthusiasm that you'd expect. Now, this doesn't mean that he's not interested, it's just that he probably encountered similar stories or experiences before. The key is to look at how he reacts to things that make you unique. Does he take the time to ask follow-up questions or show genuine curiosity? Or does he brush you off with your stories as if they're nothing special? A man who truly values you will make an effort to appreciate your individuality, even if he's seen similar traits in others before. Number 7. He has a wide social circle of women. One of the clearest signs of a man who's been with many women is the sheer number of female friends, acquaintances, and even exes that he keeps in his life. You'll notice that he's comfortable around women in a way that feels natural, even casual. Whether it's a female coworker, friends from college, or women that he met through hobbies, his social circle often includes a significant number of women. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it can show that he's someone who values women as people, not just as romantic or sexual partners. However, it's also worth considering whether these relationships feel genuine or if they seem like connections that he's maintained to keep certain doors open. Pay attention to how he interacts with these women. Does he treat them with respect and kindness, or does he act overly flirty with everyone? If he's constantly texting other women, leaving comments on their social media, or bringing up stories about them in conversation, it could be a sign that he's still seeking attention or validation from multiple sources. While having female friends isn't a red flag itself, it's important to observe how he balances these friendships with your relationship. If he's open and transparent about his interactions and makes you feel secure, it's a good sign. If he's secretive or defensive, it might be worth digging deeper. Number 8. He's a master at reading body language. A man with a lot of experience knows how to read the subtle cues you're giving off, often before you're even aware of them yourself. He can sense when you're comfortable and when you're nervous, and when you're unsure, and he adjusts his behavior accordingly. This ability to read body language allows him to build rapport quickly and make you feel at ease. For instance, if you're fidgeting with your hands or avoiding eye contact, he might lean back and give you more space or crack a joke to lighten the mood. On the flip side, if you're leaning in or playing with your hair, he'll pick up on those signs and use them as an opportunity to deepen the connection. The skill comes from experience, likely years of learning what works and what doesn't in social and romantic situations. While it can be incredibly attractive to feel like someone just gets you, it's also important to be cautious. Some men use this ability to manipulate situations to their advantage, especially when they're looking for something short-term. The best way to assess his intentions is to pay attention to how he uses this skill. Does he genuinely try to make you feel comfortable and respected, or does it feel like he's steering things towards his own agenda? A man with good intentions will prioritize your comfort and boundaries above all else. Number 9. He doesn't get attached easily. One hallmark of a man who's been with many women is that he often keeps his emotions in check. He might come across as someone who's fun, charming, and easygoing, but when it comes to deeper emotional attachment, he seems distant or guarded. This emotional detachment usually develops as a defense mechanism. When someone has been in many relationships or casual encounters, it can be difficult to fully invest in each one. For example, he might be quick to say things like, "I'm not looking for anything serious," or "let's just see where this goes." While honesty about his intention is admirable, it can also leave you wondering if he's truly open to building a meaningful connection. This doesn't necessarily mean that he's incapable of commitment. Some men who've been with many women are simply waiting for the right person to come along. However, it's important to evaluate whether he's showing genuine interest in getting to know you, or if he's keeping things surface level to avoid emotional vulnerability. If you're looking for a deeper connection, don't be afraid to communicate your needs. A man who values you will either step up or respectfully bow out if he can't meet your expectations. Number 10. He's always in control of the situation. An experienced man rarely loses his composure. He knows how to take charge of situations, whether it's planning a date, handling a disagreement, or navigating a social setting. This sense of control can be incredibly attractive because, well, it makes him seem capable and reliable. For example, if something goes wrong, a reservation falls through, or plans change unexpectedly, he doesn't panic. Instead, he quickly comes up with an alternative solution and keeps the mood light. This level of control often comes from years of experience in dealing with similar scenarios. However, this can also be a red flag if it feels like he's controlling you rather than the situation. For instance, does he insist on always choosing where to go, what to do, or how things should unfold? Does he dismiss your input or make you feel like your preferences don't matter? A man who is truly confident and experienced will include you in the decision-making process, rather than taking over entirely. The key is to strike a balance. While it's great to have someone who knows how to take charge when needed, it's equally important that he respects your autonomy and values your opinions. Number 11. He's great at avoiding drama. A man who's been with a lot of women has likely learned how to sidestep unnecessary drama. He knows how to diffuse tense situations, avoid conflict, and maintain a sense of peace in his relationships. While this can be a positive trait, it can also mean that he's skilled at deflecting responsibility when issues arise. For example, if you try to address something that's bothering you, he might use humor or charm to change the subject rather than engaging in a serious conversation. Alternatively, he might downplay your concerns by saying things like, "Let's not make a big deal out of this," or "You're overthinking it." While avoiding drama can make a relationship feel smoother in the short term, it's important to ensure that he's not using this as a way to avoid accountability. Healthy relationships require open communication and a willingness to address conflicts, even if they're uncomfortable. If he's genuinely interested in building a strong connection, he'll be willing to engage in tough conversations and work through challenges with you. If he constantly avoids them, it might be a sign that he's more interested in keeping things casual or easygoing. Number 12. He has a lot of stories about his past. Finally, a man who has been with many women will often have plenty of stories to share, whether they're about wild nights out, memorable dates, or even his crazy exes. While these anecdotes can be entertaining, they also give you a glimpse into his past relationships and experiences. Pay attention to how he frames these stories. Does he speak respectfully about the women in his past, or does he refer to them in a dismissive or negative way? A man who speaks highly of his exes and takes responsibility for his role in past breakups is someone who's likely learned and grown from his experiences. On the other hand, if all his stories cast him as the hero and the women as the villains, that's a sign that he might not have taken the time to reflect on his own behavior. It's also worth noting how often these stories come up. If he seems overly eager to share his past conquests, it could be a sign that he's trying to impress you or establish himself as desirable. While there's nothing wrong with being honest about his past, a man who's truly confident doesn't feel the need to flaunt it. So, there you have it. The 12 signs a man has been with a lot of women. Remember, just because a guy has experience doesn't automatically make him a player, though. It's all about how he treats you and whether his intentions align with yours. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friend. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more dating advice to help you navigate the world of relationships like a pro. See you in the next one.